dollars just made off the road. Nah, waves from the deeper deep on the flow. Petty, they can't for me. Wanna give a shout out to my neighbor, yeah, she stalking me. You can go and stand in one of these, cause it ain't no trust in me. Mr. God, if Disney getting you know it, and I'm still it, and I'm
Generational wealth. Trust fund, baby, mastermind succession planning. So, same thing he just left y'all with. What is your legacy going to be? Is it going to outlive you? Is it going to outlive your children? Now, what we're about to get into is legacies that we can look at, we can physically go see that outlive these people. So, without further ado, I'm not going to be here long this time because y'all got to see me 2 more times. All right, so generational wealth, trust fund, baby, mastermind succession planning. Right here, Walt Disney, Disney World. How many of you been to Disney World before? All right, so I just started going to amusement parks this year. I've never been. I just went to Disney Park, Disney World last Saturday for like the first time. And the only thing I realized when I was there, I'm like, this is a different level of money. I'm it's like the Matrix to me. I see zeros and ones. I'm walking around, I'm like dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign. I'm like, they in here clocking. I'm like, I need one of these. That was my only thoughts. I'm like, how do I get this? So, and I told the people who I was out there with, I'm like, I'm about to go home and study. And so I went and looked up them, and what I actually ended up finding out that he acquired Disneyland through, guess what? What kind of trust? Exactly. He bought it through a land trust, and one of the main reasons why he decided to do that was in order to ensure his privacy, because if people knew who he was when he was trying to purchase, because remember, Disney World is the second. It was Disneyland first in Anaheim, California. So he already was making money at this time. And if they knew that this man was coming to Central Florida to buy up all this land, they were going to hike up the prices on the acres, right? So because he used a private land trust without his information anywhere attached on it, what did he pay per acre? $180. You see the difference? And if you've been to Disney World, homie came up. Oh my God. And it's like, that's why they call it world. It's this whole own place. Like, they got music park here, music park here. It's like you going into a whole nother world. Then they have their own law enforcement. They have their own jails on premises. And the main reason how they were able to do this was pretty much leveraging their trust, creating the proper connections, and also establishing a relationship with their local government, which is very important. The more money you get, the more you have to learn how to conduct commerce with the other businesses next to you. And that includes your states, your counties, also on the federal level when we talk about government contracting. And for the record, government contracting works on all those levels, local, state, and federal. So let's get into it. In the year 1965, real estate in the swampy Orlando, Florida area, so swamp. So in most people's mind, this isn't high value land. You feel like you can't build anything on it. This man had vision. He proved everybody wrong. So selling for $180 an acre, very reasonable price at that time, more than reasonable. To bypass the risk of prospective buyers, increasing the price solely due to Walt Disney fame and such as use of real estate, he decided to purchase all of the real estate in and around Orlando, Florida, using several private land trusts. I mean, trust, most of y'all only got one. Keep telling you, you need more than one. Because if he would have used the same entity to acquire all the land, they would have raised the red flag. We're like, oh, this one company's buying 100 acres right here. But if I have 7, you get 5, you get 5. Ain't nobody gonna pay attention to that. But because I control the deeds, then I can roll them all over into one trust. That way I'm not looking for all my assets. This is how the game is played. So, an agreement includes I love this part, because like Disney World, they've been stressing Ron DeSantis out. For those of you who do not know, he is the governor of Florida. And he personally has worked to take the sovereignty away from Disney World. Oh, you didn't know that Disney World was sovereign? Yes, because they control everything through trust. So that's why they have their own law enforcement. That's why they have their own jails. The sheriff come work on their land for them. It's different. The trust is different. So in this agreement, including a royal clause that dates back to 1692, remember I told y'all, all of this stuff does not come from the Americas. It comes over from Europe as it pertains to trust and equity. So back in 1692, and Britain would extend the term of limit for decades. This specific clause is what they slid into their new agreement so Ron DeSantis could not take their sovereignty. Do you see the power in the clause? They're stressing out governments. That's all I'm telling you, bro. It's power in words, and you have to learn how to use yours properly. So this declaration shall continue in effect until 21 years. They literally just threw this in here just to throw them off. Because this man at February, he decided that he was going to attack them. He has had the whole board of Disney changed because he felt like they were making too much money and they were not able to benefit from it. And then there's another point at the end of this. This in this Charles III, King of England, living as the date of this declaration. The document said this kind of clause is most often used in UK, typically when it comes to a trust and provides a buffer against perpetuities. So, you need protection. We clearly read what would have happened if this man would have bought this land in his own personal name. They would have broke him down. So, as the state of Florida fights to attempt the copyright control over the likeness of Disney's characters, I would like you to ask yourself, like, how is that even possible? How am I? Because remember, who made Mickey? Walt. This whole thing is built off of one cartoon character. I'm a grown man and I watch cartoons. I love anime. I got on anime socks right now, fam. But it's because I love business models. When I look at anime, I see one of the longest lasting business models there are. Pokemon, we look at Simpsons. Cartoons has longevity into it because if my voiceover artist dies, I can just get somebody else who can mimic the voice. But if you have an actor, when they go, it's over. So I've been watching the same cartoons since I was a child. I'm like, these people, Pokemon, they banking. Disney, he went from one character to hundreds, and then he went through acquisitions. He acquired Star Wars, and they also acquired Marvel. These are all large companies, and it's all being done through trust with them having a proper structure in place. So right here, that's my beautiful family. You see my Indian babies with all their hair. So reiteration of the importance of the succession plan. When you look at this, like, I was like, this is what all of my stuff has to go into. I have to feed 3 boys, and my boys eat. Even the little one, breastfed children, eats. So I have to think, like how Coach said, well beyond them. Because if I'm just thinking about my oldest, who just turned 12, I'm like, what does that mean for the other 2? And then what does that mean for their children? What does that mean for their grandchildren? Because I'm the one who knows better. I have to be the one to pave the road in order to make their lives better. My parents went and enlisted in the military, so I wouldn't have to. So I'm supposed to pick up where they left off. Succession plan. So I'm going to show y'all a little bit of my life right now. Boom. Okay, so we talk about genealogy and stuff, right? I told y'all earlier, this is probably like 1/8 of my tree. There is well over 1,000 people. This is just my specific tribal line. So Chief Tammon, there is statues of my grandfather in Philadelphia. He has a eagle on his shoulder, and underneath him is his son, Chief White Eyes. He is the first treaty signer of the United States back in 1778. So my family was the first people to establish a contractual agreement with the United States government. And per that contractual agreement, it was a treaty made. And as me being an heir to that said treaty, it operates just like a trust. It's just there's an extra party with an agreement in there because the beneficiaries receive the benefits for life. So some of these people in here, one of my uncles is at one point in time was the largest landowner, and I showed them one time in Demont's his class. I came and I spoke about land patents. He was the largest landowner in Alabama, and on his land patents it says his heirs are to inherit the rights forever, and I have evidence that I'm that. So if we don't do the research, put these type of things together, how are we supposed to even know what was left for us in order so that we can have a head start to build out for the future? Because if I didn't know that I had thousands of acres that's already in my family name, all I have to do is reach out to an uncle or even see if anybody's even using the land. Because of what Donald Trump did, he put the farm bill in that, and then any family land or parcel land, you have the ability to go take your portion without even talking to your family if there's ever an issue. All right, that's why we gotta read. Things change. So, and like I told y'all earlier, like my family's Lenape, so they call us the grandfather tribe. And my succession plan, this is just from my tribal side. I have dark-skinned European family as well. So I am a descendant of the Stuart line. For those of you who do not know, that is King James, the same one that is responsible for the Holy Bible that you all carry. I'm his 13th, one of his hundreds of probably thousands, 13th great grandchild. So the importance, this also changes your mindset, which Brother Ben X will be talking about later. Because can't nobody tell me I'm no scrub. I come from tribal royalty. That's why I act like this. That's why I dress like this. Because I know where I come from. That's why this is so important. My succession plan, this helped me to build it out because I shared this with my children. I'm like, this is who you are. This is where you come from. Act accordingly. We are not the same. And it's okay not to be the same. But along with that, with the mindset, I also make sure that I provide them with the structure. I show them what's entitled to them. The land patents. They have access to all of that stuff. We have books with my grandparents' pictures on it. We talk about language and stuff. This is all part of my family design for my succession plan, making sure mindset is proper, making sure you know the history, because how are you supposed to know where you're going to go if you don't know where you came from? I kind of slid this one in. I forgot to tell Coach, I was like, I got a book right now. So, how to make sure the next 7 generations are taken care of. In this one specific book, and is all y'all here, I'm gonna make the QR code and I'm just gonna give it to y'all for free. So in this particular book, I have, this is written by me, no ChatGPT on me. So I have a family oath. The main reason why I have these specific things, the family oath, family constitution, established over family trust, these specific things are listed out in order to create structure, rules and regulations. Because if we did not have rules and regulations on this land, people would act a fool. How do you expect your family not to do the same, especially when you're giving people money who are not financially educated? So what you do is you create the structure and you make them sign contracts in order for them to have an understanding of what they're getting into. In our oath, we make people acknowledge that they are for the upliftment of our family and for the upliftment of humankind. And then we have a family constitution. Within the family constitution, you must maintain a certain GPA in order for you to be eligible in order to receive any benefits from the family trust. And if you are not somebody who is super school savvy, everybody we know, we got some cousins, sisters, some of them, everybody ain't got it. So we have to make options for them as well. As long as you are working towards something, business plans, if you have the proper mindset, you have a startup, as long as you're doing something, even if you're employed, you keep your benefits. But if you are out here bumming it, I'm not paying your way. So you establish all of this over family trust. Family trusts are very simple. I'm about to say most of you all have gotten one from the 1% Club. And literally, you're just ensuring, listing out assets. You're making sure that you have the clauses in there in order so you know how people are able to receive benefits. And some of my children are able to get money as young as 12 years old. If you can show me that you're competent, I will fund your project. Because I have a 12-year-old right now. He's like, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm like, show me a plan. We can do it. It's that simple. But you want to be able to create that type of infrastructure for your family without always having to go to another financial institution in order to pay for your development for your own family brand. Because when we look at Walt Disney, who he asking for money? All right. You build a family portfolio. That's exactly what I was talking to you about. You establish all of your family assets. Like we have the land trust, we have tribal land up in New York, New Jersey, Alabama, and then all of the personal assets. I've acquired my silver portfolio, my gold. I like cars. I'm not too big into cars, but I got more comic books and old money. Like I got horseback notes, big $2 bills that's worth more than a lot of stuff, and they silver certificates as well. So those are large $1 bills. They're called horse blanket notes, but they're worth more than most of the stuff y'all carry in y'all pocket right now. So all of that is in my asset portfolio. Everything is attached to a SKR, a safekeeping receipt, which allows me to leverage and utilize for funding with any institution that I sold and filled. And I don't have to give up any collateral. So I'm not giving people silver in order for me to walk away with a line of credit. That's not happening. That's actually stupid. I'm not going to give somebody lawful money. Key point right here. Per the United States Constitution, lawful money still to this day is only what? Gold and silver, exactly. So if you are carrying fiat, if you are utilizing cryptocurrency, if you remember cryptocurrency, there's a difference between money and currency. Most of you all are utilizing currency right now. You are exchanging debt and promissory notes. You are giving a promise to pay to somebody else saying, I have a promise to pay. How does that sound? Understand the system we are in. We come from a time where everything was paid through gold and silver and land trust, to the fact where I give you a piece of paper that always the same, and it takes me less than the actual dollar to print, and I give you 100 and say it's worth 100 notes. I give you 50, say it's worth 50 notes. I give you 20, say it's worth 20. But it only costs you 90, I'd be like, what, 6 cents to make per dollar? So who's really the idiot in this situation? It's us, because we are not educated, because we have allowed the Rockefeller system to create employees and not trust fund owners. Leverage the right insurance. I'm not the insurance expert. There's quite a few in here, but I do know enough about insurance. And one thing that I do know is having a key man policy. If you run your family like a business, I am one of the most detrimental pieces to my family business. My value as a key man for an insurance policy will pay my family for future generations because of how much money I bring, how much value I have. So if I have other members who are pushing the family brand forward, they also can have key man insurance. But when you have key man insurance, the only person who can liquidate the policy is the key man themselves. But that's the reason why you have contracts and you communicate with people. Be like, I get you this bread. You know how this go, bro. Y'all know how we work. You break it down, bust it down, make everybody happy. So, like I said, I wasn't gonna be here long this time, but Q&A real quick. Any questions?
Can you go over, you said something about a land patent. Can you tell me what a land patent is?
Okay. Surprisingly enough, my grandfather was the first to establish land patents in the United States. I mentioned him earlier, King James. He was the first to allocate out a land patent to the Virginia Company back in the day. Land patents are considered allodial titles. They are the highest title to land. Supersedes a mortgage, supersedes your deeds, because land patents are broken down into parcels, which then they give deeds for. So which one is the biggest one? Exactly. Highest title there is. So there is a land patent that supersedes everything that you are out here doing with your property. The only thing that is the protection for you if you cannot acquire a land patent is what? Exactly, using a trust. So without any more questions.
Any questions? If you could stand up, if you got a question, so I can come to you real quick, because we got to run through this fast.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you. So clarifying the sovereignty clause, that specificity in language is there because if it just said for perpetuity, that would get thrown out. Is that why?
No, not at all, because my trust says it operates in perpetuity. That's the actual timeline on my trust. The crazy thing is about a trust is unless somebody has the legal ability to refute what you've put in there, it stands. So in this situation, DeSantis did not have the jurisdiction or the authority to challenge your trust. It's outside of his legal jurisdiction. His chancery is equity. So the clause matters. It matters, and the language is very important, but that will not jeopardize you unless you use harmful language to your business situation. Everybody This is why you should get with somebody and articulate what your needs are when you're getting a trust so it can be made specifically for what it is you want to build out for your family. Next question, please.
Peter and I call DJ an alien. He's one of the smartest people I've ever met. All right, next question.
Greetings, brother. How are you?
All is well, brother.
Good. I had a question about a 98 foreign trust. Is that, do I have to pay taxes with that in America?
All right, so thank you for that. That's very helpful. 98 foreign trusts are usually, this is when you use a SS4 document with the IRS in order to acquire an EIN number, and you use a foreign address, and it's usually between box 4 through 7. That's where you place the address. I just gave you all some sauce. There's only 18 questions on that document. So if you have a foreign address, you can get a EIN number that is established with that. The principal business is said to be established outside the United States jurisdiction, and that does put you in a separate tax bracket. But because of the amount of money that I don't know how much you're making, I cannot, especially not on camera, tell you that it's gonna make your taxes good. But it will put you in a different tax bracket, and it will help you out dramatically versus you doing all of the stuff yourself, because you know, like how I know, they have no jurisdiction over anything outside of here. They can't even verify foreign addresses because they don't have the system. The IRS told me that themselves.
All right, 2 more questions, and then we move into the panel.
Yes, sir.
Peace, brother.
Peace, peace.
How much would you charge for one-on-one?
Let's see.
That's a valid question. I'm not mad. For anybody who was here, who came out to support, I will discount my mentorship. I have 3 tiers. I will discount it 50% for all of you all.
I want the top tier.
That's $25K, bro.
I got you.
I like that energy.
All right, last question.
Yes, man. And my 25K tier has a private investment group that the money that you pay in, it goes into that. So I don't keep it. You actually get it. Yes, ma'am.
For that succession plan that you were talking of, how would we go about, like, going and finding our ancestors, knowing what land,
Great question.
any that they had, all that?
Great question. So that one chart that I showed you all, that actually came from, that's a build out, and that's on Ancestry.com. That's a family tree build out. I did not do any DNA testing or anything in order to get those results. I pulled the records of who slept with who in order for me to get here. Like, that's the way that worked. You're talking SS4. That's an SS4 for the IRS EIN number.
No, for your tree. What did they exist?
Oh, that's Ancestry.com, the family tree. And you can cross-reference on MyHeritage. Yeah, so because some things, but it takes a little bit of time. You click it and you let the hints propagate, but be patient. It took me a little bit to build that out, but it's very beneficial. But when you go onto this, the Mormons have the largest land records. When you go into there, they have access to who owned what land, death records, social security records, marriage records, everything. So they're probably one of the longest running bookkeepers in history right now.
Yes.
And they own Ancestry.com.
Yes.
MyHeritage.
Oh, I guess and families. What about without them?
Are you my last son? Yeah.
So then there's another ancestry, you know, about African.
Yes.
Okay, you don't like that.
No.
Okay. All right. No, that's not. But that's nope. But that's not the question I had. The question I had: do you know about there's a tribe of Black Indians in Nanjemoy, Maryland, that I've been trying to help for years. Like, they're in poverty and they're trying to steal all their land.
Why they know government contracts?
They don't know anything about this. So
I showed y'all earlier. This $4.6 billion just waiting on them. Nigga, all they gotta do is ask.
all I'm saying is they have been trying for years to get help, and I just wanted to let you know about the Nanjemoy.
I'm always willing to support and help my people build and get out of any financial hardship that they may be in. So I appreciate that that caveat and that input. And yeah, I'm gonna say, you already know we gotta connect anyway. But if no more questions, we are about to get set for the panel. So DJ, you got something you want to say, Coach?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.